It's time. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Wilton Community School District Board meeting. The mission of the Wilton Community School District is to provide an education that encourages continual progress through the improvement of one's abilities, the expansion of one's interests and knowledge, and the growth of one's character. Call to order, roll call please, Joy.
Linda Duncan.
Here.
Tony Hurd.
Here.
Gary Maurer.
Here.
Rob Metzger.
Here.
Caroline. Here.
All right, thank you, Joy. Agenda approval. Any additions, changes, or corrections, Mr. Burnett?
None.
All right.
Move the approve the agenda.
Second.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We'll go to the minutes of the regular meeting, November 13, 2018.
Motion to approve the November 13th board meeting minutes.
Second.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. On to the November 28th work session.
Move to approve the minutes for the work session.
Second.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right, public forum.
You bet. Well, each year for the last, 8 or 9 years, we've had what we call the Parade of Champions, where we invite all of our teams and groups that have had success over the last 12 months to come give just a short visit in front of the board. And it's truly one of my favorite board meetings to just showcase all the things our young people do here in Wilton. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Snavely, and he's going to walk through them with us.
Yeah, we've had a tremendous amount of success, and it's always fun to bring, our coaches and sponsors and student athletes together. Some of them look like they're in the middle of practice right now, so maybe they're liking being here so they can miss practice. Maybe they want to get back. I don't know, but they're fresh out of practice. So I'm just going to ask coaches or sponsors to share a little bit about the success they've had in the past year, and some of them are currently in the middle of seasons and things like that. So I made up a little order. I've asked them just to share a little bit, and then we'll move on to the next group. So we're going to start tonight with band. Mr. Wyatt, you're up.
Oh, okay. So, okay. Hi, everybody. My name's Isaac, and I guess we're just going to talk a little bit about band. So, Wilton Marching Band started rehearsing last summer, and our first performance was at Founders Day Parade. In addition to all the home football games and pep rallies, we received first place in Class 2A and top drum line at Cedar Rapids Parade Marching Band Invitational, second place at Class 1A-2A in the Mount Pleasant Marching Band Contest.
Wilton hosted 50 visiting marching bands at the 27th Annual Welcome Festival of Bands. The band also received outstanding certificates in marching execution, drill design, horn line, drum line, and drum majors, which were Isaac Hunter, Jacob Reifert, and Lily White. Wilton received the second highest score of the day by 1/10 of a point.
The band received their 17th consecutive Superior Division I rating at State Marching Band Contest. This is also the largest 2A Division I streak in Eastern Iowa, with the second longest streak being at 4 years. At the annual State Marching Band Pizza Feed, the pizza eating contest, records of 22 slices for the gentlemen and 17 slices for the ladies were not seriously challenged this year.
Mr. Burnett always wants to know.
That's the key stat.
I'm very pleased with the work ethic and the level of excellence and persistence of the kids this year. They've been a joy to work with at the rehearsals and the performances. There's a consistent emphasis of excellence at all of our learning processes, whether it be the rehearsals or performances, and we always just try to make excellence be the goal rather than the byproduct.
The past year has been very successful for the high school band. In addition to receiving the Distinguished Academic Achievement Award for both concert band and marching band, the Wilton Concert Band earned a Superior Division I rating at State Large Group Contest last May, and the concert band traveled to New York City, Toronto, and Niagara Falls on the North American tour.
Finally, Monday's 5 through 12 band concert was a great success and well attended. We hope to have the band performances posted on the Wilton CSD Band's Facebook page sometime this week. We appreciate the encouragement and support we receive from the school and the community. Thanks for your support.
Good job.
What, clap after I know some groups are going to need to leave after they present, so I just want to thank all of you tonight. And I know the board and Mr. Burnett are thankful as well for coming in. And I know you're busy. Share those accomplishments. So
It's front
thanks
and
for
back.
that. Choir, we're gonna jump to you next.
Okay. I'd like everybody in this room to wave if you're in choir, big wave. Lots of people in here today. I'm really proud that in our program we have many people doing many different things, specializing in many different things. You know, whether you're academically inclined or sports inclined or cheer inclined or dance inclined or musically inclined, they're all in my room all the time. It's awesome. Some students that have been in honor choirs, and we attended the River Valley Conference Honor Choir. The high school honor choir included Emma Coles, Lydia Herder, Audrey Geyer, Emma Blake, Corey Anderson, Shay Ray, Becky Imhoff, Scott Martin, Reese Verkowski, Jacob Creamer, Lucas DeRocher, and Chase Garvin. And then the junior high students that attended that conference as well are Jacob Imhoff, Jake Walton, Clayton Geyer, Aiden Hewitt, Vaughn Marquez, Charlotte Brown, Taylor Dreyfall, and Elena Dan. We had 2 students make Opus this year, which is awesome. They were Jake Walton and Taylor Dreyfall, who couldn't be here today. And then we had 4 students make it into prestigious Dorian Honor Choir, which will be in January, and that's Reese Verkowski, Jacob Creamer, Carly Schultz, and Lydia Herder. We also had a super successful variety show this year. We had lots of fun. Lots of kids in here stepped up to make it a really successful night, tried really hard for that. And then we have a concert coming up on Monday that they have been working on some super hard music on, some very challenging stuff, and they're stepping up to a point just great. Yeah.
Okay, next we have volleyball. Are you ready?
Okay, hi, my name is Emily Owens, and I would just like to say that I'm proud to be on the 4th team in Wilton history to make the state this year.
And just, you know, I brought up our 5 seniors, I brought up anybody that had some sort of postseason award, and I just wanted to share that with you briefly. This group of seniors has compiled just an outstanding record, 36-5 this year. Of the 5 losses, 4 to teams that were in the state tournament championship. And so I think all season long they played tough teams, did great things. I couldn't be more proud. 36-5, but in their career, their 3-year career, 2-17. And that's just pretty remarkable, so couldn't be more proud. We talk about, we talk about leaving a legacy. They certainly have done that. We talk about promoting our volleyball culture. They certainly have done that. Again, couldn't be more proud. And in our program, Kelly's team was 20-6, and our fresh top team was 14-0. So good wins top to bottom. I want to just talk a little bit about some of their awards. Emily was all-conference honorable mention and second team all-district. We have Ella, who was first team all-conference and all-district and all-area. Then we have Emily was all-area as well. And then Aubrey was first team all-state 2 years in a row. All-area Must-Team Journal 2 years in a row, player of the year. Fab 50, top 50 player of the year in Iowa. Elite team RBC as well as all district. So a lot of accomplishment. Courtney was first team all conference, all district, and on the all area first team as well. So again, they did a lot of great things for our program. I want to give a quick thank you to Mr. Burnett. I saw him cheering at some of our matches. I appreciate that. I really appreciate the fact that we had the pet buses. He and Mr. Snavely coordinated that. And of course, the half a day out of school, the assembly as we go, the parade as we went by. But it's very noisy on that floor. But I would tell you to look up and see that wall of blue, the students and the fans were there. I really appreciate the fact that the school supported that. And then I want to thank Mark and Jane for all they do to help keep us on task throughout the season. So thank you.
No ball here.
All right. This year we had a big number. We had 48 kids out, which is the biggest number we've had in a long time. We had 18 seniors, and to our knowledge, as far as we look back, is the biggest group of seniors we've ever had through. And that is something that we focus on in our program, is trying to increase the percentage of kids playing, and we're really high. It's going to be tough to replace 18 seniors, but we're looking to do so. This year we went 8-2. Overall, we won the first district championship in our program in 11 years. The boys averaged 30 points per game, and they only allowed 10 points per game on defense. One of the better defenses we've ever been around, but really stingy defense as well. Everybody up here, I believe that I see, got some sort of award, postseason award, whether it's first team, second team, or honorable mention in our district. 4 guys, Corey Anderson, Jared Townsend, Brian Stillman, and Jerome Mays, were selected for 4, or they were on all state teams. Corey Anderson was as far again as I look back, I don't think we ever had a person on the first team Des Moines registered all state team 2 years in a row, and Corey was nominated for 2 years in a row at defensive back. So it's a pretty special honor, but really a special group. Going to be tough to replace as most of them are seniors. Corey's our lonely junior back here, but that's what we have for football this year.
Okay, we're gonna have our football cheerleaders come in. Coach Anderson.
This year we had a great year overall, and we ended it by 3 of our squad members being meeting a criteria to cheer at Honor Squad, and that is when they cheer at the UNI Dome and between the halftime of the 1A and 2A football games, so the championship games. So that was exciting. We have junior Michaela Scher and junior Emma Coles. Senior Emma Blake also qualified, and she is sick today, so she couldn't make it. They had a total combined, I think, of 14 hours of practice between 2 different dates, one in Ames and 1.5, I guess, in Cedar Falls, and learned about a 5-minute routine, dance and stunt, and it was fun, as I think they will attest. And it was really exciting for them to be able to perform during those games. So they really did a good job. So they got to perform with about 250 other high school cheerleaders from across the state of Iowa, and represented our school very well.
Coach Moore, wrestling.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, a quick recap of last year and preview of this year. Last year we had a pretty successful season as a team and as individuals. We set school record with 29 dual wins. We had 10 district qualifiers, 5 state qualifiers, bringing home an individual state title with Trey Brisker, who graduated last year, 7th place finish with Corey Anderson, and then 3 other state qualifiers, Cameron Reddick, Caleb Brisker, and Caleb Lilly. So we're returning 3 with valuable experience up the state tournament, a couple other district qualifiers from last year with Colton Cruz and Coy Baker, returning back to the lineup this year. I don't know, we won a few tournaments, did a few good things along the way. I don't got all the stats off the top of my head, but it was a good season last year, and then we're rolling a lot of solid kids back into the program this year, and right now we're trying to adjust a few weights and get a few things in order throughout the month of December here, and I'm hoping we'll come out of Christmas break ready to rock and roll a little stronger than what we're sitting right now as a squad. So we got a little bit of adversity to overcome here in December, but looking forward to some good things this season with a group of guys stepping back in the room and leading us along the way. I do want to say we do have 3 boys out wrestling in college right now, with Bryce Osen wrestling up at Cornell, who's a sophomore up there. He's in the lineup. Trey Brisker's out at the Air Force. And then we have Eli Faison out at Western Iowa wrestling for them too. So it's a lot of fun for us to follow along and see them as they continue on post-secondary, and gives us a little something else to watch on the weekends too, in our downtime, which is very little. Anybody want to add anything? Yeah. Corey, what do you want to say? Make it good. As you can see, if you, Corey's not only been an asset in our room, he's been an asset in some of the other programs too, and as Ms. Erickson was alluding to earlier, a lot of these individuals, whether it's cross country or it's football, baseball, we're fortunate right now that we're really have a lot of kids that are multi-sport athletes, and they're not just focusing on one, they're helping out in many other areas, and it's making them better teammates, better athletes, and better individuals, so it's great to see that. But that's it from us.
Coach Darn, cross country?
Oh, those shoes. We had 2 individuals from our boys cross country team qualify for state this year. Zach Hine for the first time this year, I believe placing 37th at state. And Buddy for his 3rd year in a row, placing 12th at state overall, and they're both back next year, so we're excited to have them. Guys, you're putting from golf here too, because this is the group last year. I believe first time ever boys golf conference champions. So this group here, and then sectional championship was like the 4th in a row of the program. So these are golfers from last year, and they're back this year, and we can't wait for the weather's turn.
Okay, baseball, ready?
All right. These guys, we had 20 guys in the varsity roster last year, and we returned 17 this year. So, looking forward to that. These guys were 26-6 last year, finished 3rd in the state. Of their 6 losses, they lost to 2 state champions in Davenport, Assumption, and obviously Centerville. They were District 8 champions, Sub-State 4 champions, entering the state tournament, and throughout the year they led the state in Class 2A in pitching ERA. Opponent batting average, opponents hit 147 against them. We were number 1 in Class 2A in fielding percentage at 9.67. And these guys had just a phenomenal season. Stepped up in the postseason, didn't give up a run throughout all the district and sub-state games. And then beat Denver in the first round at state, 3-2. It was their 3rd trip in a row back to state, so that was a good win for them. Of these guys here, we had all-conference elite was Jared Townsend and Colin McCrabb. South team all-conference, Corey Anderson, Brock Hartley, Tyler Hartman, and honorable mention Garrett Bonesack. All-district players, Corey Anderson, Colin McCrabb, Jared Townsend were 1st team. Tyler Hartman was 2nd team. Then all area players, Jared Townsend was captain of the Quad City Times and the Muscatine Journal team. He was also the single pitcher selected in the Des Moines Register team as well. They picked 1 pitcher in all classes, so he was the pitcher for that. Colin was honorable mentioned in that. All area team, Jared, Colin, Corey, Tyler Hartman, Brock Hartley, and Chance Stevens. Then all state, Jared Townsend and Colin McCrabb were 1st team all-state, and Corey Anderson was the 2nd team all-state selection. So these guys had a great year, and looking forward to an even better year this year. So with all these guys back, quite good things this year.
Transition to softball next.
All right, softball this year, we surprised a lot of people. We had a very successful season. This group of girls, plus we had about 40 girls, 8 through 12, which is huge for a girls' sport, to spend all summer going to the ball diamond every single day. So that is huge. Shelby and Annabelle and Courtney will be our 3 seniors this year to help kind of carry us and that momentum that we had at the end of the season onto this next season that we're expecting great things. This past year we had 25 wins, and I would argue probably one of the toughest conferences in the state. We always have someone from our conference representing this area up at the state tournament. So to have 25 wins is a pretty great thing. We led 2A in kids this season with 407, which is also pretty awesome. That speaks to all the hard work that they put in the off season. Come January, we'll go out to Mark Wise, the barnyard, and just hit. And our pitchers put in a lot of time in the off season to make sure that we're ready to go come May 6th. So we're excited, and our hard work really paid off. We made it to Fort Dodge for the 4th time in school history, and then we lost to the state champion, eventual state champion L&M 2-1. So I mean that speaks a lot to where we can go and where we're at. So Chloe Wells, she was our first team All-State selection. That's the first time we had someone on the first team All-State for softball since 2012. It was Leah Duffy. She was also elite All-Conference, and she was All-District. Courtney Drake, she was 3rd team All-State, All-District. She was the South All-Conference. Carly Schultz, she was All-Conference for the South Division. Callie Miller was also All-Conference for the South Division, and Mila Johnson was honorable mention for our team. We just want to thank the community, the school for the support. It was pretty exciting. We kind of started off the girls' sports by getting the state appearance rolling, and we're excited for next year, and we're ready to go.
Last but not least, Stepperettes.
Saving the best for last. I have Ansley and Lily here, repping Stepperettes. We start our season like in the summer, starting with like Founders Day and homecoming and whatnot. But in early November, we took 6 girls to get solos, which is the most we can take. So we had 6, 3 of them got a Division I rating, and Tessa Bartel placed 11. So that was exciting. I don't think we've had a placer since like 2004 maybe. At the end of November, we went to Teen State, where they got a Division I rating in Class 1 kick. So that was exciting too. Now we're transitioning into some basketball performances. I think I just turned in like 5 or 6 scheduled, so we'll be learning some new routines for that. And spring show is March 16th. And that is it.
I don't think we forgot anybody. Everybody's good. Thank you. Good. Thank you.
Thanks for coming, everyone. Very impressive.
All right.
Since I've been here, I'll tell you what's amazing to me, and it started this past summer, but for the softball team to go to Fort Dodge State, for the baseball team to go to the state the same year, the volleyball team to go to state, and the football team to make the playoffs. We represented the cross-country state meet. The marching band got a Division I. We had 2 cheerleaders up at the All-State Festival at UNI at the Dome. Well, I'm just saying in the last 4 months.
Yes, yes, yeah.
That's elite
State
status.
Yeah.
You know, to make both. We've never done that.
No.
You know, and gosh, it's been a number of years just to make one softball or baseball team to state. They both made it, and volleyball to make it, and football.
It's been a while.
It's impressive, and that's what I enjoy about when you bring them all together in this room. And look how many kids are shared throughout the programs. It's a team effort in every season.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, a lot of fun. I don't know how to say this in another way, but I hope people can recognize and appreciate the success our young people have had. And it's hard to do. There's a lot of communities just having any team go to state in any sport. It's a rarity. We're 4 for 4 in the last team sports.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Snavith, for organizing that.
Yes. All right, now to the fun part. Stacy.
Hey, that's my line.
Number 5 in the upload, taxation fund reports. Under the general fund, if you notice down under the expenditures, I added the downward adjustment for the Wilton Municipal Electric payment. We approved that payment last month, but after contacting the state, that this year, fiscal year 19 is the first year that we're going to have a state report card based on general fund expenditures and how much we spend per student by building. So I contacted them, inquiring how they wanted me to code that, because putting it into electricity for this fiscal year doesn't really belong in this fiscal year. So, you're gonna see that this year and next year to get that, paid off for the downward adjustment for our Wilton Municipal electric payment. So that actually will not go into the calculation for the student, what we're spending per student. So I wanted to point that out. And I don't really have anything else major to point out. Have any questions or comments on any of the taxation funds? Okay, if not, we'll move to upload number 6, which is the instructional support program. Have our ISP revenues at the top and then our budget in the middle of the first page. What we have spent through November at the bottom of the first page and what we have left at the top of the second. Any questions or comments about the ISP report through November? Next, we have the self-insurance fund. At the bottom is the fund breakdown between medical, dental, and vision. And continue to do well with this fund. There is money sitting in the general fund for the medical portion. We only do that once or twice a year, that transfer. Everything for dental and vision goes in here. And as I've commented before, the dental will catch up. Summer is small revenues, large expenditures, so it takes, so we get to the middle of the year for that to more even out. And vision, those expenditures will probably stay above revenues because we increased our benefits because our balance kept staying so high, so. Any questions or comments about the self-insurance fund? Next report, latchkey. The usage comparing October and November at the top for the before and after program. The overall number actually went down by 3, but that was in casual usage, and then the actual full-time programs, the number actually went up in the before and after school program. Again, you're going to see the expenditures exceeding the revenues because we have asked the director to spend some of the money on things that they need for the program, so she's been buying new things. Any questions or comments? The next page is the trade vendor report for the latchkey program for November. Then we have nutrition fund. Usage at the top for the school year lunch and breakfast program by month and school year to date. And then the financials on the second page. Any questions or comments on the nutrition fund? Trade vendor report for the nutrition fund is the next download. Any questions or comments? Next, we have the student activity fund on the first page. Negatives. The elementary vocal, which you'll continue to see that be negative because they pay for supervision for concerts, so junior senior vocal will make up for that at the end of the year. And then robotics club, they're active, have no income, and he is supposed to be working on a grant for that, and we have not heard from that yet. And then winter canteen, it's just getting started in November, so it had a lot of upfront expenses. And spring canteen, that $25 was a portion of the Sam's Club renewal fee. And actually, Joy and Terry have already spoken about that, and they're actually gonna end up taking that out of the fair canteen because spring canteen has very little use, and for instance, last year because of weather, we only had one track meet, so that made up the spring canteen, one track meet, so. So that will be adjusted before the December report. Then the FFA Enterprise Fund, which I think, Joy, did you say you just got a check today for $10,000 for the sale of corn, so see that in the December report. Flex spending, keep that all local. And then the agency fund account, which is money that Joy accounts for, but we do not technically own. Any questions or comments? Period vendor reports are attached for all of those funds on the next download. This is the lengthy one. That trap team does a lot of fundraising and raises a lot of money.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Ammunition is not.
Comes in, goes right back out.
Cheap.
They're very successful at their fundraisers. Any questions or comments on any of the period vendor reports? Next report is the November, December co-curricular driving report, broken down by sport at the top. And then we have some classroom use and a couple of second bus inspections that drivers had to attend. And then the driver summary breakdown at the bottom. Lots of driving going on, lots of juggling of bus drivers. Which actually, I think we have more drivers now than we've had in several years, so it's good.
Right. I see names, yeah.
Any questions or comments? And next we have the extra payroll on December 20th. Anything that's not already on a contract is presented to me for payment goes on this list. Way shorter than last month. And I don't believe there was anything unusual. Have the annual football field maintenance hours for a couple of the coaches. Other than that, any questions or comments? And then next we have the bills. The first several pages are general fund bills. Then we have some from the 1 cent sales tax account, Fund 33, and then our revenue bond payments that are due January 1st. Any questions on any of the bills? I guess we did have one management fund, our quarterly payment for our equipment breakdown insurance that were tried for the first time this year. And the first expense for the multi-purpose building, we had to have some trees removed. We'll do the on-site work. Any questions? We joke in our office that after October, bills used to get small, but that doesn't seem to happen anymore with all the projects we have going on.
Right.
And the wonderful addition of the Townsend Foundation donations that just keep coming, so.
I like to keep you busy, Stacy.
Yeah. It's not just me.
We want that office not to be, yeah. Okay, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right, thank you, Stacy. Now we will move on to the administrative reports, and I'm sure Denise is first.
The two things that I just want to throw out there and highlight, one is, I think we've alluded to it a little bit tonight, the concerts. There are just so many moving parts, and our finance people really do a wonderful job. With band concert Monday night and Thursday night, if you're not doing anything, it's going to be epic. It's first and second grade. We rotate through who gets this holiday season concert, and it's first and second grade start this year. Ooh, this whole week. It's quite special. But Stevie does a great job with our elementary music people, and Mr. Miller does a very good job too with the bands. The second thing, also we use Reader's Theater as a strategy for increasing our fluency in the elementary. And we very much appreciate Connie Hoekstra gets a community group together. And they come in and they model for our kids holiday story using Reader's Theater. And so they'll be doing that next Thursday. So that's very nice of them to do, and the kids really enjoy it. Everything else you can, any questions on any of those? I'm happy to answer.
I know you're not up here during the day, nor should you be unless you're dropping off a child or have a meeting, but the playground with the turf, the kids just are going nuts on that. I don't know if you want to talk about Mrs. Austin, but they love it.
They love it. They love it. It's just a lot of space, and they can go on there all the time. I mean, really, if they have to wear snowbands and boots, if it's snowy or wet, and that's causing the older ones a little stressed, but they'll make decisions, you know, that's what it's all about, deciding.
Yep.
But it's a hit.
Good deal. That is
When it's
exciting.
wet, can you slide out?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And we're working on what that might look like. Because they can take off and go a long way.
See some YouTube clips.
Just as a parent, what I've noticed is lots of times when, you know, the sun comes out and the snow starts to melt, kids come home with snow pants that are like muddy and dirty, and now they're just wet. They're not, they feel muddy.
Yeah,
So
that's,
that's a really good thing.
yeah, that's nice.
And with the landscape.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, it's such a big area that kids would play on it, you know, for kickball or whatever, but now they just go there and hang out and roll around. I mean, they're just, the whole area is
Just
usable.
kids.
You
Yeah.
know, because otherwise it's just hard
And it was
dirt,
rocky and, yeah.
rock, and just, you know, you don't, they play everywhere all over it.
That's cool. All right. Thank you, Mrs. Austin. Mr. Snavely?
Yeah, a couple of things in my junior, senior high report. The Scholastic Bowl, I wrote a paragraph in there about that. And I try to post that on social media, you know, with their success, but they don't get a lot of recognition. I know Joy sometimes gets up early and travels with the team when they go to different places, so thanks to her too. But they have had a couple of competitions, one in Ankeny and one in Sheraton. They finished 4-1, 3-1. So they've had some really good success, and you have to remember, these are bigger schools that they're going up against. So to have that kind of a record is saying something. They travel to Mercer County High School at the end of January, and then later in the spring, I don't have the date for that, but they go to Waukee. So thanks to Mrs. Hetzler for heading this team up and getting them together to do some practices and getting up early on Saturday morning. And I know Joyce, like I said, does that as well. And they don't get a lot of recognition. I don't think a lot of times people even know they're doing it. So I wanted to take a moment tonight and recognize that group. And then the other thing is tomorrow afternoon, I'm taking a group of students to Spring Valley Bible Camp. They offer their facilities for the afternoon. That student leadership team met with Mike Donahue when they're here. They're kind of a newly formed team, but Danny DeRozier offered his facilities at no cost to us. We're going to have pizza out there, and then we're going to do some team building tomorrow afternoon with that team. There's 19 students from 7-12. And then we're going to do some brainstorming about ways we can positively impact the culture of the school here. So, you know, we have National Honor Society, we have Student Council, they do their thing, but this team really is going to focus on positive culture and those kinds of things. So they'll do some brainstorming. I know Danny's going to do some different activities with them, just as far as team building and different things too. So that's going to be a great afternoon tomorrow afternoon with that. So those are a couple things on my junior, senior high board report that I wanted to highlight. Is there any questions about anything else that I typed up there?
I just want to add a thank you to Mrs. Hutzler too, because Taylor has really enjoyed it. She popped right up early in the morning for their practices and everything, and just had a really good time when they come, so
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, she works hard with trying to do student council and, scholarship and the different food drives they did, with collecting items and, the angel tree. There's just so many things that she does that people just sometimes really don't.
Well, it's Scholastic Bowl too, our athletic teams, they go to West Branch for a game, it's close, they have to go. And with Des Moines, they're all over the place. It's a haul.
We're gone 13 hours.
Yeah.
We went to Sheraton.
So that's another major, thank you.
And the kids have fun, because I always try to ask them, hey, how'd the weekend go? And they always have good things to say and have fun. So if they wouldn't have fun, they wouldn't go, because it is a huge time commitment, so. Anything else about the junior senior high school report? Actually, my athletic report, a couple of things here. We have started a Facebook page for the Wilton Boosters, so if you're out on Facebook, you can probably, like that. And, we've already put the taco night up there. So we're gonna start promoting some of these things that we do with the boosters. Carrie Anderson's taking the lead on being the person that posts a lot of the information. I told them I have a hard enough time keeping up with the junior, senior high and athletic stuff at school. So she's taking the lead and doing a really good job. I saw she posted something today about the upcoming taco night on January 25th with the Wilton Cafe. So another cool thing that's happening. We have a wrestling meet this Saturday at home, coming off of a big night of basketball on Friday night. But we have 32 teams coming in. And it's big. It's really big. Looking at track wrestling and all the entries that are coming in, it's gonna be more than last year. So that'll be a good day with wrestling, our JV tournament. And then other than that, we are hosting some things coming up here that I highlighted in the board report. Junior high girls basketball is done as of last night, so just like that, their season starts and over. So as we transition into the holiday break and things like that, things are going fast. So other than that, everything's going well. Athletic and activity-wise, we have the concert on Monday for the choir. So, any questions about this board report?
We had really good seasons too, 7-8 girls, and our girls program is really strong right now, 7-12 and everything.
All right, thank you, Mr. Snavely. On to action items.
You bet. Just have one under consent agenda number 1, the high school teacher. We review this every 3 years, and I went over this with Mr. Snavely, Mr. Meyer. Just made a couple grammatical tweaks, trying to make it all the same tense. So participate, minor things, but nothing major.
All right.
Motion to approve consent agenda number 1. Second.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. Consent agenda number 2.
Policies, 50110 to 502.1. No recommended changes. It's interesting as I read these, I look at it as from the superintendent's view. If I work with some of these policies, I don't know of any students we've had married. But there's a policy in place and how we work with them.
There was someone when I was in high school, there was a couple that were married, came from Muscatine, but yeah.
So I always am interested in reading them because, like I said, I haven't had to refer to that policy.
Yep.
And,
They're there.
Yeah, but we've had some people apply for school work permits and, some of the other things too there, so. Everything else is pretty laid out. I have no recommendations as far as taking any of these to the policy committee or making any tweaks. But certainly the board may have questions.
Move approve consent agenda number 2. Second.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Consent agenda number 3.
Yeah, there's 7 items on here. First one being our retirement incentive for fiscal year 19, which is similar, it's identical to what we've done in the past. Yep. I don't know, we had 22 eligible last year, ladies, 21, 22, and we'd have a similar amount this year, I would imagine. So they have until February 1st to notify the central office if they'd like to put an application in, and ultimately the board approves it at the February board meeting. So, are there any questions about the early retirement incentive? Numbers 2, 3, and 4 are second readings from last month. Seems like it gets drug out a little bit, but a couple months ago, we talked about 414.4 and 414.5 in our district policy review, and then we tabled it, went over at the work session, then we had it approved the first reading at our November board meeting, just clean up some language there on those two. And yeah, with substitutes as well, actually those 3, number 3, number 4, number 5. And then number 6 is the second reading of policy 801.4, the selection of an architect. Just changed some of the verbiage there to allow the superintendent to interview some architects. I spoke with Joe Raggett earlier this week, and we've got 2 firms that we want to bring in to do a sit down with them, kind of an informal interview, and do a building tour and look at our facility. And I'd like to have something in front of the board. I don't know if I'll have it in January, but certainly shortly thereafter, because I'd like to get something drawn up so we have it prepared if in fact there's some opportunities with the Townsend Foundation, and also if the legislature goes through its 1 cent sales tax. So we need something shovel ready to prepare to show them this spring. So that's on my short list of things to get done. And then number 7 is just the 1920 calendar as presented earlier. I don't know. I remember when Y2K was a big issue and the world was going to crash, and gosh, that's 20 years ago.
I know, 1920, that's
So,
just.
to think we're in that 1920 calendar is kind of mind-boggling.
Motion to approve consent agenda number 3.
Second.
All those in favor? You can pick one, I
Pick
think.
one,
I think they all 3 did. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right, individual consent.
Yep.
Car bids.
Just 2 of them tonight. The first one's the car bids, as we discussed at the work session. We had Joyce send out, the 3 vendors, Kriegers, Alpens, and Wheelies in West Liberty. 2 of the 3 got back to us. You can see the 2 bids are very close, both in that $18,000 range, which is great because that falls within our budget that we have for what we had in Keppel. Let me pull mine up here, but Ron Alpens was the lower of the 2, and we've purchased several vehicles from Alpens, and it is nice if we have any maintenance issues, they're right down the road, and they've been very good to us as far as.
Take it over on your way.
You're over
That's
there.
right.
You're over there now, aren't you?
Sometimes too much.
That's okay.
It is
That's
good,
okay.
it is good. But my recommendation is to go with the lower bid, which is Alpens, and we pull that specific number up of that 18,037.
What'll be interesting is we're gonna buy cars in the future. So
You're exactly
when
right.
this manufacturer is gonna continue, apparently, sedans.
I know this is 2018, so he had to call around and, find crews, is what he told me. Yeah. This is actually coming from Missouri.
Oh. Okay.
I will make a motion to approve Ron Alpin for the car. The 14. Second.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right.
All right, the second set of bids, it's for our summer work in 19. And it involves the gym floors as far as getting them finished, painted, etc. And there's 2 vendor bids there, Specialty Floors and Phillips Floors. Joe recommends the specialty flooring price. They're very close again. I mean, when you have a $17,000 project and they're within,
Oh, yeah.
you know, $40 or $53 of each other,
Yeah.
that's pretty tight. But I know he's happy with specialty flooring, and, you know, I know Mr. Snavely's also worked with the coaches as far as the color schemes and whatnot. And my recommendation is to go with specialty flooring. Question?
This is both main
Both
gym and
gyms. High school and the junior high.
and the auditorium.
Yeah, the high school's gonna be sanded down and repainted.
Right.
And the
That's
junior high
true.
just refinish, right?
Yes, yes, that's the only one that's,
So I think Joe said this is probably the last time we'll be able to sand down that high school floor.
it'll be interesting. I've heard that for years.
Is it still the original floor?
I don't know. I think it
Do you
is,
think?
as far as the original wood.
The actual floor.
Since I've been here, the wood hasn't been replaced. That was in the fall of '01, and if that floor was put in '74,
Uh-huh.
I can't believe they would have replaced it between '74 and '01. Derek, remember you were in high school, did they replace the wood?
Same since I was around.
See, I
So-
think we
in the
just
90s,
keep,
So.
I imagine it's the original floor.
I helped carry it in.
I was told one time, I was told one time that a floor will typically last around 50 years, so that would make sense.
Yeah.
And I was also told, when we put down the junior high gym floor,
yeah.
that you get about 6 sandings out of them, typically. And usually they sand them 6 to 8 years, as far as,
Okay,
you
yeah.
know, to
'Cause I know-
resurface. So in that case, that makes sense, you know, where we're at. But,
When's the last time you've done it, Joe, as far as sanding it down?
you know, time gets away, but it's been several years. When I
It's
say
been a
seven,
while.
maybe 2010, I don't remember,
Reagan's
but,
may remember. I remember when we talked about doing it, but,
yeah, I remember walking down with the board, looking at it that year in August.
yeah. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, so, but at any rate,
Okay, so we're probably getting there.
it's something to think about within the next, you know, 5 to 10 years.
Okay.
If, you know, we need to replace that,
Okay.
so.
All right, we haven't done anything, have we?
Motion to approve going with specialty floors with a bid of $17,585.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. All right, information items.
Just a couple, you can see the hirings there. Main reason for the basketball breakdown is instead of having the traditional head coach, first off, /JV coach, and like a freshman coach or first off, everything's changed
Oh, that's how we're doing it.
as far as what we call that.
I was wondering, Joe, if I could just get on the list there. I mean,
You could,
there's
if, for
quite a list there.
$314, if you wanna come to practice every day and travel on the bus, Derek, you're hired.
I'm there just about every day.
There you go, there you go. But they broke those contracts up,
Okay,
so everybody that's helping is getting a little bit. That's really the reason that you see there. So those 4. Really nothing under maintenance. They did start the groundwork out there as far as the multi-purpose facility. And gosh, if the weather holds out, you know, and it looks decent for the next 10 days, I think you'll see some work getting started out there.
cool.
So it'll be nice to get it framed up and, you know, whatnot. And then this spring, they can kind of get the interior cranked out. So unfortunately, it won't be done before the spring, but ideally, it'd be nice if we could have it functional going into next fall. I mean, that's just being realistic. Anything pool board wise?
Meeting tomorrow night.
I was gonna bring up, it was asked, some of the ramp classes were looking to come over, and the cost wasn't what the pool charged, it was more the busing
Trying to
and
get,
paying the driver and paying,
well, and of course, with elementary, they don't have a lot of time in between like we do
So,
at the block.
exactly, you got the travel in there and also paying a driver to do it for several days.
That's
So
true.
that was,
Okay, I wondered that.
I thought of that the other day, I never got back to you on that, because I knew that, and I was gonna mention that to you, so.
No problem.
But it wasn't because of what the pool was gonna
I will
charge, that was
report,
nothing.
I will report back to the pool board too, because we're like,
Yeah, I don't
So
want
we
to think it was
wanted-
because the pool was charging too much per
right,
child, that was
okay. It
pennies
was
compared to
it
what
was
the
the
transportation.
other costs. Okay, good, that's good to know.
Yeah,
Thank you.
well, I wanted to pass that along.
All right.
Legislatively, session starts the 14th of January. I don't know, be interested to see what happens. The Arts control all 3 chambers, but that doesn't mean that things will certainly get through. The 1 cent sales tax should have made it through last year and didn't, but we'll see what happens. Revenues have been solid from the reports I've seen, but I don't know if that'll equate to, where we'll be at with our level growth. So I'm not gonna hold my breath. I have nothing on the Goodwill side, miscellaneous, really nothing either. We don't have a work session in December, sadly. So hope you enjoy some time off. It's well earned. Next meeting's Wednesday, January 9th at 5:30 PM. Be here.
All right, yep.
Superintendent rests.
We have not. Please, I would
I make
entertain
a
a
motion
motion
to
to adjourn.
I second.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?